All right, all operations test corrections. Please make sure that you follow along and write down everything that I write down in red, or you will not get your credit and you will not get a 70. Please make sure that you watch the entire video and do not fast forward. Number 1, in 2015, there were 245,678 miles of railways in the United States. There were 112,597 more miles of railways in the United States. How many miles of railways were there? Okay, so we start out with 245,678. Then we have 112,597 more. So that word more is a keyword for add. So now we're going to add 245,678 plus 112,597. So we've got to make sure that our place values are all lined up correctly. 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry my 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. Carry my 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 7. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 2 plus 1 is 3. 1, 2, 3, comma. So we have 357,275 miles, which was D. Number 2, Sandra's mom gave her $20 to buy school supplies. She spent $4.50 on pencils for school. She also brought 2 packs of pens for $3.45 each. She gave the remaining amount of the money to her sister. How much did Sandra give to her sister? Okay, so she spent $4.50 on pencils, and then she bought 2 packs of pens for $3.45 each. Remember, I told you that we are never going to multiply decimals in 4th grade. So if there's 2 packs and they're $3.45 each, then we can just add those decimals together. 5 plus 5 is 10. Carry my 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. So then I have $6.90 plus her pencils, which is $4.50. 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry my 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. Drop down my decimal. So she spent $11.40, but her mom gave her a $20 bill. And so we've got to see how much money is remaining. So I have to make 20 to a decimal because it's money. And then I'm going to subtract my $11.40. Okay, 0 minus 0 is 0. Now 0 minus 4 I cannot do, so I have to borrow. Okay, but there's nothing here to borrow, so I have to go to the 2, and it becomes a 1. And then this becomes a 10. But I have to take 1 from this 10 and give it here. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 1 is 8. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So then when I drop down my decimal, I should have $8.60 left over. Dang dogs. Number 3, Mrs. Jackson used a table to show the relationship between 2 sets of numbers as shown. So you can see set A and set B. Which statement best describes the relationship between set A and set B? All right, so set A is our input and set B is our output. So how do we get from 6 to 30, 8 to 40, 11 to 55, 15 to 75? So I know I'm going from a smaller number to a larger number. So any of my answer choices that are subtracting or dividing, I know are not going to be the correct answer. And actually one of my answer choices is over here. Okay, so now let's see. 6 plus 5, oops, sorry, I can't see that. 6 plus 5 is 11. So it can't be plus 5. So now let's look at D, which says times 5. Okay, so let's see. 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, that worked, but we have to do it for all of them. 8 times 5 equals 40, okay. 11 times 5 equals 55, okay. And then 15 times 5, okay, well, I don't know that as a fact, so let me go over here and say 15 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So 5 times 5 is 75. So that worked for all of them. So then my answer is going to be D, and it's actually on the next page. Number 4, the city council ordered 85 dozen donuts for a community event. How many donuts did the donut shop make for the event? So they made 85 dozen. How many is a dozen? Well, it's 12. So I have 85 boxes of 12. So I'm going to multiply. I can't tell you how many of y'all added 85 times 12. So we have 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. 2 times 5, 10. Carry my 1. 2 times 8, 16. Plus 1, 17. Get rid of him, get rid of him. I have my 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 8 is 8. Now I'm going to add these two sets of numbers together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. 1, 2, 3, comma. So there should be 1,020 donuts. And you had to type that in. Number 5, the table below shows the areas in square miles of each of the Great Lakes. How much larger in area is the largest lake than the smallest lake? So how much larger, how much bigger, that's telling us to subtract the largest from the smallest. So what's the largest? Okay, well, that's going to be Lake Superior. What's the smallest? Well, that's going to be Ontario. So I just have to subtract those two numbers. So 82,414 minus 19,529. Make sure my place values are lined up. Now, 4 minus 9. I can't do that. I have to borrow. This becomes 0. This becomes 14. 14 minus 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 5. Okay, can't do 0 minus 2, so I have to borrow. That becomes 3, and that becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 5, can't do that. I'm going to borrow. That becomes 1. That becomes 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. Can't do 1 minus 9. I got to borrow. That becomes 7, and that becomes 11. 11 minus 9 is 2. 7 minus 1 is 6. 1, 2, 3, comma. So 62,885. So all you had to do was type in 62,885. A lot of y'all typed in both numbers up here, and a lot of y'all typed in a sentence. It just wanted the number. Number 6. The table below lists the attendance of some professional soccer games in the local area. If the total attendance for all 4 games was 144,708, what was the attendance for game 4? Okay, so it said the total of these 4, all of them, the total is 144,708. And so if we know these 3 in the total, how are we going to find this missing one? Well, we're going to subtract, okay? So let's look, because first it's saying, how did we get that? So let's look. 144,708 minus 44,210 minus 39,607 minus 22,598, okay, or 22,000, 39,000 plus, well, if we do add all those together, it does equal 106,414, but then you still have to subtract it from this total. So then the last one says 22,597 plus, and then, okay, so it has to be this one because it includes all of the numbers. So if we were solving this on our own, then we probably would add these 3 together and then subtract. But you could also take this number and subtract, then subtract, then subtract. You could subtract 3 times. Okay, so if you do add these numbers together, you're going to get 22,597 39,607, 44,210. So that's 14, 10, 11, 6, 12. Hold on. 0, 12, 14. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 3, 6, 10. So that's 106, 414. But then I still have to come up here and say 144, 708 minus 106,414. 8 minus 4 is 4. Can't do 0 minus 1. Have to borrow. That becomes 6. That becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. Can't do 4 minus 6. Gotta borrow. That becomes 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So 38,264. What did I do wrong? Let's go back and look because I did something wrong. So let's see. Where did I mess up? Oh, I said 10 minus 1 is 9. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. So that should be 294. Sorry, I messed up. But look, I knew something wasn't right, so I went back and fixed it. So my answer should be 38,294. And then this is one of the correct ways to get the answer because you have to use all of the numbers they gave you. All right, again, sorry about that. I can't believe I said 10 minus 1. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm tired, but that is the correct answer. All right, number 7. It took Ian 3 years to collect 25,413 aluminum cans to recycle. In the first year, he collected 8,917 cans, and in the second year, he collected 7,639 cans. Which equation can be used to find X, the number of cans he collected in the third year? So this is his total. This is year 1, and this is year 2, and they want to know how we're going to get year 3. So we start with our total, and we can subtract this number and then this number, and it's going to give us the total. Now, if we were actually solving it, we might add those two together and then subtract, but I don't see that as an answer option because this one has adding all 3 numbers. Well, that's not going to get me the missing one. And this one, that would be step 1, but then it doesn't have step 2. And then this one's not the answer. So my answer has to be A. Number 8, Ezra is putting new strings on some guitars. Each guitar needs 6 strings, and Ezra has 252 strings. How many guitars will Ezra be able to string completely? Enter the correct answer in the box. So he's got 252 strings, and each guitar can use 6 strings. So he's got to put 252 into all these groups of 6. So 252 divided by 6. So you should have made a 6's T-chart. Sorry, that's kind of sideways. All right. 2 divided by 6. Can't do that. Got to use 25. 25, get as close as I can. That'll be 24. So 4 is going to go up here. 4 times 6 is 24. 5 minus 4 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring down this 2, making it 12. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 0. So 42. So he could string 42 guitars. Okay, let's look at number 9. Gina collects stamps and displays them in an album. She placed 78 of her 138 stamps in the album. If there are 6 pages left in the album, which strip diagram represents X, the number of stamps she should place on each page if she wants the same number of stamps on each of the 6 pages. All right, so do you agree that 138 is my total? and then she used 78, and then the rest of them she divided equally into 6 pages. All right, so we need to find a strip diagram that has 138 is our total, and then 78, and then we should have 6 X's. So let's look. 138, 78, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has 60. This one doesn't have the 78, and this one only has 3 20s, so it has to be D. Number 10. Coach King purchased boxes of tennis balls for a tournament. Each box contains 183 tennis balls. She will use 6 boxes each day during a 3-day tennis tournament. Choose the correct answer from the drop-down menu. Okay, so we got to figure out how many she will use in one day. So she has 183 tennis balls and 6 boxes, and then each box has 183 tennis balls. So we have 183 times 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So this is how many for one day, 1,098. Now it says how many will she use for 3 days. So now I'm going to take this number and I'm going to multiply it by 3. Or I could add 1,098 together 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24, carry my 2. 3 times 9, 27, plus 2 is 29. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2. 3 times 1 is 3. So 3,294 should be my second answer. Okay. All right, number 11. Mr. Rye has 15 roses and 21 daisies to put into 3 vases. He wants to put the same number of roses in each vase and the same number of daisies in each vase. How many flowers will be in each vase? So we have 15 roses and 21 daisies and 3 vases. So we have 15 plus 21. 5 plus 1 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have 36 flowers and 3 vases. So 36 divided by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Bring down my 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Or 36 divided by 3. It is a fact. I probably should know that. But just in case I didn't, there it is in long division. Number 12. The Garden High School auditorium holds 1,650 people when all the seats are occupied. When the usher took the attendance, he noticed that 247 seats were empty. Which strip diagram represents Y, the number of seats that were occupied? Okay, so 1,650 is our total. When he took attendance, there were 247 empty seats. So how do we find how many were taken? So this is our total. This is our whole. This is one of our parts. How do we find the other part? So we need to find the strip diagram that has 1,650 as our whole, 247 is one of our parts, and then Y is the other part. That's what we're trying to figure out. So then D is the only one that could possibly be the answer. 1,403 is not a number they gave us. Number 13. On Thursday, 50 books were returned to a library. On Friday, 4 times as many books were returned to the library as books that were returned on Thursday. Which set of equations can be used to find B, the total number of books returned on these 2 days? So it tells us on Thursday there's 50, and then on Friday there's 4 times as many. So first thing we need to do is say 50 times 4. Okay, so 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20, so 200. So we can get rid of any of the equations that don't have 50 times 4 as step 1. So we can get rid of A and B. Now, then it says, what is the total number of books on these 2 days? So if this is day 1, or Thursday, and this is Friday, then we need to add 50 and 200 together to get our total. And that would be D, because total is telling us to add here. Number 14, look at the numbers in set A and set B in the table. How would you find the missing numbers in set B? Okay, so this is an input-output table. So we need to figure out what the rule is so we could figure out what to put here. So 39 to 33, 29 to 23, 19 to 13. So we're going from a bigger number to a smaller number. So we're not adding and we're not multiplying. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of A and B because they're adding. Now, C says subtract 6. Okay, so let's see. 39 minus 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 0 is 3. Okay, now it can't just work for one. It has to work for all of them. So now 29 minus 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. 2 minus 0 is 2. Okay, 19 minus 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. 1 minus 0 is 1. Okay, so that worked for all of them. Subtract 9. Let's see. 39 minus 9 is going to be 30. So no, it has to be C. All right. Number 15. The 5th grade is planning a field trip. There will be 136 children and 30 teachers and parents on the trip. If each van holds 8 people, how many vans are needed to carry all students and adults? All right, so first of all, we have to figure out how many people there are. There's 136 children, and then there's 30 teachers and parents. So we have 136 children plus our 30 adults. 6 plus 0 is 6, 3 plus 3 is 6, and then 1 plus 0 is 1. Now, each van can hold 8 people. So let's break this into groups of 8. So we have 166 divided by 8. Okay, let's make an HT chart real fast. Make this a little bit easier for myself. I should know my 8s, but in case I don't, I'm going to go ahead and make a chart. All right, can't do 1, gotta have 16. So 16 divided by 8 is 2. So 2, sorry guys. So 2 times 8 is 16. Bring down this 6. 6 is less, so I have to put a 0 up here, and then my remainder is 6. Okay, so I have 20 vans, and then I have 6 people left over. So the question says, how many vans are needed to carry all students and adults? So I can't leave these 6 people out. So I've got to add 1. So my answer should be 21. All right, and then the bonus, all it wanted you to do was select 2 equations that are correct. So you should have worked out every single equation and then found the 2 that were correct. Okay, now yes, D was backwards. I had a lot of y'all say, but it was still 101 and 5/10 minus 27 and 2/10. So your answers should have been A and D.